Hey, so I stopped by the Pure Audio project room on the Saturday at Capital Audiofest and got a good presentation. Really enjoy their speakers, think they sound fantastic. I asked the owner what he thought of passive crossovers versus active crossovers. So here's his response.
Passive crossovers. So it's very hard to say which one is preferable or recommended because they are different. In the active crossover, we are using two-way, of course, like with the passive, but it's a 12 dB slope. It's a second order, and it's crossing electronically, meaning there's a very good control on the wave, on the phase shift, on everything. So in terms of precision, it's a very precise one. You have more control, you can fine-tune the frequency and everything. The passive crossover here is a series one, series topology, first order. Now with passive crossover, what happens is there's a lot of so-called interfaces between the components. They can be annoying, they can work wrong sometimes, but they can also work right. And the difference between the two, that in the passive you have some kind of a blend of everything that sounds magical to the ears, to some ears. Okay,
especially with first order.
Especially with the first order, and especially with the serious one.
Yes.
So in a serious crossover, all the components are on the same audio path. So we have customers who have both. And normally the reports are like this. They love the passive crossover, then they swap to the active one and say, wow, that's much better. After half a year, they swap back to the passive one and say, wow, that's much better, that's magical. So it's a bit different. I compare it to food. Like with the passive one, you have a bit of pepper, a bit of salt, something is happening there. With the active one, it's exactly what you ordered, no surprises. But precision-wise, it's a very... And by the way, Nelson's design is Nelson's design.
Sure.
It's minimalistic and it's analog, not digital.
I was just going to say, it's still analog. It's
analog,
not
yes.
digital,
It's not a
so we're
DSP,
not getting any
it's not
DSP
active,
here.
but analog.
Yeah.
The issue is a bit coming more from
We're engineers.
live sound versus hi-fi, but you get so used to hearing the notches, the peaks and resonances of a passive crossover that when you go to something active, it's going to sound unnatural at first, at least in my experience.
Yeah.
Because all those holes that you didn't know were there have been filled in.
And the phase response is also
Right. It's different.
held better on the
exactly.
DSP.
So
is
when
there any notch filter on the?
No, on this
the
one, no. In this model as well, in all the trios except of the coax, which is a three-way, we're using series topology, first order, no notches at all. We have one capacitor, one coil, and two resistors, and in some cases only one resistor. And
So you get well-behaved drivers with nice overrun.
people are recording it.
I hope you don't mind. I can bleep things out if you
The
wish.
quiz at the end.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, years ago, I was in Italy.
It's called good engineering. You just did the front end work.
I'll refer exactly to what you talk about. We were in Italy with our family in a villa in Toscana, and we had a cook, a woman who cooked for us, which was great, and she did bolognese pasta to die for. After 2 or 3 days, after having the same pasta every day, I came to her and I asked her how she does the sauce. And she didn't understand, somebody translated, and then when she understood the question, she said, okay, come here. She takes a tomato, cuts a slice, gives it to me, I take the tomato.
That's it.
That's it. You don't need anything.
It's called not ruining good
No,
ingredients.
I mean, yeah, if you have the time.
So
It's
you are
called
right.
not ruining good ingredients.
You are perfectly
Exactly.
right. If the components are designed right for the configuration, then all you need from the crossover is just to put it together, to
Just
balance
making
it
the
together.
swap. That's all you're doing.
Yes. And
A nice handshake.
first order. He's worrying, he's recording everything.
It's going to be all over YouTube by the end of the day, so be very careful what you say.
Remove the competitors from the list.
Okay, I will, yeah. And I can cut the tomato references too if you wish.
They are the competitors.
No. We don't work for anybody here.
No, the elements play a very serious role in this combination.
Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, so that was the presentation, discussion about the difference between the passive and the active crossovers. I sat and listened to the speakers for quite a while. It's probably the third or fourth time that I've heard the Pure Audio Project speakers. I heard them first at Capital Audiofest in 2019. And if I remember, at that time it was the bigger, the Quintet 15-inch, I believe. I've heard that same Quintet speaker at a local fellow's place, and also at Capital Audiofest, Harry from VPI brought along his own personal set of quintets, and so that was interesting to hear those in the bigger room, the bigger VPI room. So anyway, in all cases, each time I've heard these speakers, they do sound very, very good. I prefer the horn driver, which we heard today. I think they sound big, they sound open, spacious, they're pretty transparent. I don't hear any of the typical horn colorations. The woofers integrate really well with the horn driver. I don't hear that crossover that Ze'ev's talking about, which is how it should be. They're really seamless through the frequency range, and so if you've got the right kind of room for these, and I think this room is perhaps just a little bit on the small side. I mean, it's just a small hotel room, but if you could get them in perhaps something like a 15 by 17 room or thereabouts, I think these would do a great job of filling that kind of space, and they do sound wonderful.